this station.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Daily Nebraskan Show. You're listening to the Newsies Night Shift. My name is Vivian. I'm one of the co-hosts for the show. Sadly, Andreas is not present today, but we do have our special guest, Sarah.
Hey! I'm super excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have Sarah on my show. Like, literally, icon, mother, like... I was obsessed with her day one walking to the office, and now I feel like I can call her my friend, and she's just the sweetest person ever. And today, kind of like how we talked about last episode, we're going to start doing profiles with people at the DN. So today we're going to find out about Sarah's story. So Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, just like year, major, roles at the DN, what you do?
Yeah, okay. So I'm a sophomore majoring in journalism and advertising and public relations. That's such a mouthful, but it's literally only 2 majors. But yeah, so like I said, I'm a sophomore, so this is my second year on staff. Right now, I'm the social media director, and I also do reporting for the culture section. And yeah, so I started last year just as I actually started off just working for the engagement section. I did Facebook and Twitter. So that was sort of my priority, my responsibilities. And I want to say, like, at the end of my first semester, I applied for culture, and then I started reporting soon after that. So yeah,
that's fun. So like jumping into like your second semester, freshman year. Was
I want to say like my first story was like published that January. So around there, yeah.
What was your first story like? Tell me about your first reporting experience.
It was a mess. Actually, my first story never got published.
Really?
Yeah, because not to blame my others at all. They're perfect. My queens, love them. But I didn't know what I was doing. I literally just switched majors. So I was actually graphic design my first semester. Yes. So I wasn't even in co-JMC. And so this was like... I was like, well, if I'm switching my major to journalism, I might as well be a reporter.
Yeah.
And so going into it, I really didn't have that much past experience. I mean, I did journalism in high school, obviously, but like I've never gone out and like reported something that was going to be published. And I remember it was about, I can't remember what exhibit now, but it was some exhibit at the Sheldon. And I struggled with that. Sources were not getting back to me. And then when they did get back to me, they only answered via email. And then I brought that to my editors and they're like, we see the work you did, but unfortunately,
dang,
this is an email format. And also the story was definitely a mess. It definitely wasn't just that. But I think the first story after that I did, the one that got actually published, I want to say, I could be wrong, this is one of my first, but it was the importance of Black RSOs on a predominantly white campus. And I had a really good time writing that one. I got to talk to some really cool students. So that kind of set me off onto the right foot, finally.
Yes. So you mentioned high school journalism. When would you say your journalism journey began?
Oh my gosh. Freaking elementary school.
Really?
Yeah. My dad, he was an English professor. He still is, but at the time he was teaching at Iowa Western, and somehow he got put in charge of their newspaper.
Okay.
And so I just remember him talking about that, and I was like, that is so cool. And elementary, we didn't have a newspaper, but we did have a yearbook.
Aww.
So little me went and joined yearbook. And yeah, then I did the yearbook in middle school. And then in high school, I took the whatever journalism 101 freshman class we had. And I took that. And then, yeah, I applied to be on yearbook staff, just following that theme. And I ended up being editor-in-chief. So my senior year.
Fun.
So yeah, it's a long time coming, but I had the greatest journalism instructor at my high school. So that definitely helped me along the way.
I guess that makes sense, going from yearbook to graphic design.
See, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, because I quite literally always wanted to major in journalism. And then I don't know, I had some sort of self-crisis, and I was like, oh my God, Sarah, you're not going to make money as a journalist, which I'm still not. But we're just going to roll with the punches now, because I realize that this is actually the thing I'm passionate about and good at, because graphic design was a whole different beast, and I didn't like it. I wasn't particularly good at it. And I was like, does the slight change in yearly pay really make that much of a difference?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was miserable in art school. I mean, the people are great, whatever, but I just knew that wasn't the place for me. And also working at the DN, everybody was at the J school. And I just I got the biggest case of FOMO.
Oh.
I was like, oh my God, I just wanted to be there so bad. And so I finally was just like, whatever, I'm switching my major. And I mean, that was kind of a hard decision. I mean, for the actual reasons, it was easy, but I'm just I don't like quitting things, even though
that's valid.
This wasn't exactly quitting. It's not like I quit college, but but it was the right decision. So
yeah. So starting in the graphic design major, how did you find out about the Daily Nebraskan?
I actually, oh my God, I sound like such a tryhard. I applied and was hired by the DN the summer before college.
Okay.
So I wasn't even a freshman yet. And it was quite literally because, like I said, I already was involved with journalism. And I loved doing yearbook, and I wanted to still be a part of some sort of journalism community, even if I wasn't going to major in it at first. But I literally just saw a booth for the DN at my orientation.
Oh, wow.
Back in July 2022.
Yeah,
2022. And I was like, well, I should apply, because I saw I could do art or engagement. And so I applied for art and engagement, and engagement's the only one who got back to me. So And it led me here. So I guess
it happened for a reason.
It worked out, yeah. So I met Lexi over Zoom.
I was just about to ask, like, what was the hiring process like?
Yeah.
Like, going into it before an actual school year?
No, yeah. So basically, I mean, I did the standard online application, whatever, included some of my previous work. And then, yeah, Lexi, she's our managing editor now. But at the time, she had my role. And basically, yeah, she reached out to me and she's like, it was summertime, so obviously she didn't want to do like in person, you know, for all these people in other states. So we just called each other up on Zoom, and then I got hired. And I literally remember she was like, "Okay, your first day is August, blah blah blah. The office is in the City Union, like in the basement." And it's across from like the co-JMC, like if that helps you. And this was like literally my first week on campus. Second week probably, I guess. But oh my God, I'm so directionally challenged. So I was like, when I found out there was 2 unions, mind blown. So I was like, City Union? I was like, which one? Which one is it? And so I got like so stressed out. I literally like, I had my little Nebraska app pulled out like on the maps. I'm like, is this the right place? It was. I figured it out. But it was so scary. But she, along with literally everybody else at the DN, like made me feel so welcomed. And I just like, it was such a great community. Like, and I definitely think it helped me like sort of branch out and meet new people, especially like coming in as a freshman.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just loved it. And so I stayed.
Can you tell me a little bit about like what it was like adjusting to like the new job and the new environment and kind of like getting into your role? Like how long did it take you to like feel comfortable in the office?
Do you mean with like my senior staff position or just in general?
Just joining like the first year.
Oh gosh. I mean, it was definitely difficult because I mean, I don't even shout out to Lexi for hiring me. I had like no experience really because it's social media. And I was like, I run my own personal Instagram page. But so it was definitely a bit difficult, you know, like figuring out the different platforms we use and our scheduling and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had like that past journalism experience, so I knew how to write. So essentially what I was doing was like, along with trying to like optimize our content for our viewers, increase engagement, that sort of thing, I was really just writing teasers. And so I was like, hey, if I could do this, then I can learn the other stuff. And I did. It's definitely a learning curve. I tell that every time I hire somebody. I'm like, this is going to be so confusing at first.
Yeah.
You're going to be so lost. But like, once you get the hang of it, it's like, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Like, you just get used to it. And like I said, with like the reporting, I was a mess. I did not know how to report. And now I'd like to say that I do. Not to toot my own horn, but I'd like to say I can write a story.
Yeah. At what point, like, on your first year on staff, did you know, like, you wanted to do more, you wanted to be an editor and, like, take that next step?
I feel like I'm just such a tryhard. I feel like in literally everything, because I'm just, like, I have this mentality where it's, like, I'm not doing enough. I could do more. And I also think I gravitate towards leadership positions just in general, you know, like, even in classroom settings and friend groups, like, I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of how my personality works. And so, and I knew, like going into the spring semester, at the time, our staff was a lot smaller than it is now. So it was slim pickings for who was going to take over the section because Lexi, she ended up being managing editor. So it was kind of like, who's next? Because she did such an amazing job. So I was like, who's going to fill her shoe? Like, it was insane because I still have imposter syndrome. I'm like, I'm no Lexi Warden.
Oh,
I'm just glazing her right now. But
shout out Lexi.
Shout out Lexi if you're watching. No. And so I just felt like it felt like an obvious decision to me that I should step up because I was loving what I was doing, and I was jealous of what senior staff was doing. I mean. I knew I was just a freshman. I knew my place, but I was like, that is so cool what they're doing. Like they're running this whole institution. Like it's crazy how much the whole team does. Like they really just keep it running.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I was like, I might as well apply. I ended up applying for social media director and assistant culture editor, actually. And so I ended up getting the social media position, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I was super excited, but I was like, I don't want to give up reporting because I did find a passion for that as well.
Yeah.
So it was really nice this year. I was able to work with the senior culture editor and assistant.
Yeah.
And they, they're very flexible. So they let me write less than other reporters, definitely. But that's just kind of how it goes. With like being on senior staff and having other big responsibilities. But yeah.
Yeah. Could you go more in depth on that? Like, how did you, first of all, like, deal with like this new role? Like, how did you grow into that and like, learn all the, I don't know, like responsibilities and stuff as well as like, balancing like reporting along with that? Like, what's your process like? Tell us your secrets.
Oh my gosh, a planner is my secret. I am a list girl. I am a schedules girl. Everything is in my little green planner. But oh my gosh, I was a mess coming in this fall semester in this new position. Like I said, I had huge shoes to fill, and I definitely was given all the support I needed from Lexi, along with literally everybody. Lexi was so helpful in the transition process. And Lexi, she didn't have an assistant, so having Paige come in as assistant definitely took a lot off my shoulders. She's just the greatest. We're dynamic duo.
Yes.
Love her. But yeah, and at the time we didn't have the full staff that we do now. So like I was juggling doing my regular responsibilities on top of like creating the newsletter.
Yeah.
That like we have people hired to essentially make. So I was kind of like just doing a lot at once. And then I just remember this was the kicker, was football season.
Yeah.
We had so much content, obviously, and volleyball too. I should say both. But there was so much content, so many days a week coming from both. I mean, volleyball, obviously, but you know what I mean. And so I was just in over my head trying to get everything out on each platform. And so I feel like that was really one of the most stressful things of the new position, was just like how much in control I am. I mean, not to say that I'm not a control freak, because I am. I love it too. But just like I didn't realize just how much goes into those little details behind the scenes. And obviously I adjusted. We made it out, and we ended up hiring somebody who does solely sports engagement, Danny. He's the best. Another shout out
Danny.
He does a wonderful job, and that was probably one of the best hires I've ever made, because he's just on top of all the sports stuff. And I know we're on a sports radio show right now, but I'm gonna say I know nothing about sports. So I was trying to put out all of these teasers, and I'm like Googling, I'm like, foul, football.
What is a touchdown?
Innings. So I was like, having somebody who actually
like
knows the ins and outs,
definitely
helps. It was more of like me trying to step back and take more of like a manager role rather than trying to control every single thing, was one of the biggest hurdles I had to overcome. And then obviously balancing that with reporting was a bit difficult. But I mean, I'm a pretty generally busy person, but so I feel like I've been used to like, having to divide my time. So
yeah,
I mean, it was obviously difficult, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle, and I figured it out. So
awesome. Sadly, we are kind of coming up at the end of our time.
That is great. I've been yapping too much.
No, this has been great. It just goes by really fast. But I guess one of the last questions I wanted to ask you is, how do you think the work you're doing at the Daily Nebraskan now is setting up like future success for you? Like, how is the knowledge you're gaining how are you gonna take that into the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've learned just as much at the DN than that I have in my classes, truly. It's actual real life experience, even if it's just a student run publication. I mean, obviously I can't speak on how it is to work at like a real professional newspaper or anything like that, but I'd like to say that this is a generally similar experience. We have the newsroom set up that many professional workplaces do.
Yeah.
So really just like knowing the ins and outs of like how a newsroom works, and especially with being in engagement, I like how I'm able to really work with every section at the DN, because I feel like some sections, they just like are doing their own thing, which is perfect. I mean, that's what they're supposed to be doing, obviously. But I have the opportunity to just know, not everyone, obviously. We have a lot of employees, but I feel like I know a lot of people because I have to talk to them about how they want their content to be put on platforms, how we want to advertise their stories, how all of that, really. So, I mean, and then with that, so like with reporting, I get the side of journalism. I'm hitting this.
No, it's okay.
I get the side of journalism, hard reporting, you know?
Yeah.
And then with my social media director, I obviously do social media, so I understand how that works. But with that is more like ad PR focused things. So I really like how at the DN I'm able to like lean into both of my majors and gain experience in both. So it's definitely setting me up for future successes. And I got an internship this summer, and but some of the people who were there also worked at the DN. So they know just like how this prepares you and how this makes students into strong journalists and professionals. And yeah, it's really just a testament. And you see all of this great DN alum who go on and do huge things. And every person's different, but I think that just says a lot about the DN as a whole, that we set people up to do great things.
That's so awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Is there any last words you'd like to say to the viewers?
I mean, follow the Daily Nebraskan, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. Search us up, like and comment, share, and read our articles, of course, because I work with some of the most talented people and just love them all. So, yeah.
Yes, guys, go find us on literally all platforms.
All of them. We do it all.
Well, again, this has been the Daily Nebraskans show on 93.7 The Ticket. Thank you so much for listening, and now we're going to send it over to Anthony and Ben in sports. See you next
In every office,
Wednesday.
there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe. Early break with Sip and Jake.
I called, you didn't return the call. Called a couple times yesterday. No, nothing.
But I did crickets. Hold it. I called first, and then I got this. I don't know where Sip was. If you're in the bathroom, I get he goes,
Hey, hang tight. I'm writing right now.
and I don't know. I'm like, well, why are you whispering to me? He said it just like that.
Hey, sit tight on that one. I'm writing right now.
And I'm like, what is he doing? Is he in the bathroom or what? Where are you at?
Give us the scoop on what happened there,
where
Sip?
were you when I called you? Because I did call you back.
Hang tight. Hang tight. I'm writing.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J.
So I knew that it was a crapshoot with the grown-up professionals at the highest level. Who's going to bet? I don't know whether the starting center's girlfriend broke up with him, whether his parents have groceries that week. I don't know whether his roommate and him had a fight. So why would I want to bet on that?
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
School tells you all about the 4 seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's a way we really tell what time of year it is. Sports seasons: football season, baseball season, or even off season. Well, what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now, of course. And now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season, y'all. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolatseason.com. See you there.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan. I'm joined here by not a new guest, because you were on here last week, but you're not on the show as much as Anthony, Joseph, and Marissa. It's Danny.
I've been making my rounds.
He part of the engagement staff. He does all the Twitter stuff, pretty much, for the sports, for BN.
So if you get mad, you come to me. Don't go to Ben.
No.
He's not going to be able to help you.
I don't even have access to the DN Twitter, so I have nothing to do with that. That's all Danny.
Yep. I'm presented by this Reese's peanut butter cup that I found on the table when I walked in the studio today. I'm going to put it back so Sip and Bush can find it in the morning, and Sip's going to see it, and he's like, ooh, a Reese's. I'm going to eat that.
That's probably what he'll do.
Yep. I'm going to say it for him, and I'll write my name on a note right there. So
be like, for Sip from Danny. He's going to be like, who the heck is Danny?
He's like, oh, I know. You know what? I'm going to put Josh Lill's name on there. I'll put Josh Lill's name on there.
Oh, no, Josh.
I hope he knows Josh.
He works. He's there every morning with him. So
yeah. But it's 6 a.m. So early morning Sip might be 50-50. You might not all be all the way here.
Yeah, yet. Probably. But Danny, how are you doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Vivian and Sarah did the first segment for us.
They did splendid.
Appreciate them.
Well done.
The news segment, not the news segment, the new news segment.
New news segment. Oh,
it's gonna be first segment every Wednesday from now until basically May, when the show's gonna take a little leave of absence during the summer.
What are you guys gonna do without us?
No one's gonna know what to do. The world is gonna be like crumbling because our show isn't gonna be going on.
But just from 11 to 12 on weeknights.
Yes, only during that time.
Just in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Hey, you never know. But with that, let's get into the show, Danny, because it's already been like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm tired of goofing around. We're here to do something.
We're here to debate. I don't even know.
We're not even debating.
Nah, we're gonna first touch on the coaching carousel, and first want to touch on John Calipari to Arkansas, leaving Kentucky
Danny, I know it's been a while since the news broke, but the details on his contract came out, I believe.
Came out today.
Yeah. So Danny, I want to know, like, we haven't not gotten your thoughts on just him going to Arkansas. What are your thoughts?
So I think that the lines of like blue collar basketball are starting to get blurred, and especially over the last like 5 years or so. Virginia coming in 2019, they're kind of just like, oh, we're gonna be the one and done. The 2015 Kansas City Royals that are just showing up to the World Series and fall off the face of the earth. That's the 2019 Virginia Cavaliers. That Baylor team that won in the bubble, that was a really good team. And then now we got UConn going on this run. But it's not just Kentucky, UCLA, Duke, North Carolina anymore.
So if we're doing this blue blood thing, okay, North Carolina and Duke, obviously blue bloods, okay? I'm going to say Kentucky. I know they haven't been as good recently, but it's Kentucky.
History, yes.
So I got those three. Kansas, you have to put Kansas in there.
Yeah, Kansas.
I feel like those four are locked. After that, it's a little blurred. Like, how can you put UCLA in there when they haven't done anything since the John Wooden days in the 70s?
Yeah, but they still won. What was that, like 9 titles in 12 seasons or something like that? And like 4 undefeated seasons in a row?
I understand, Danny. Oh, I get it. But do you realize it is 2024? That is like 50 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever. I can't do math.
I'm not that old, but I mean, we still got to remember that those are pretty big days for college basketball, even though they're long behind us.
UCLA is like the Boston Celtics of college basketball.
One of the Celtics are so good.
UCLA made a great run in 2021. Who cares? They didn't win.
Okay.
But this is what I'm saying. So, like, they did all these great things when they had the Celtics had Bill Russell, Larry Bird, but then ever since the turn of the new century, they had like the one championship with Paul Pierce in 08. So, I mean, it's a little, not all perfect, but analogy, but you know what I mean? Like, Celtics got like 17 of their 18 championships, or what? Do they have 17? 16 of their 17?
Some
whatever they
number.
got. They have all but one of them before the turn of this century. UCLA is like the same thing, but even worse. They haven't done anything since like 80s and 90s.
UConn's in there now.
That's the next point I want to go to is UConn blue blood? I mean,
I think they are.
What they got? 6 now?
6, and I think 4 have been in the last 20 years, I think.
So this is something very interesting. So for my sports data class, I'm going through KenPom data, and I was going through like what the KenPom ranking each year of the national champion was, past like 20 years on KenPom. For the past 20 years, 18 of the 20 national championship winners have been a top 3 KenPom seed. You want to know the other 2 were a 10 seed and a 15 seed. Can you guess the 2 teams?
In the last 20 years.
So there was 2 teams that were not a top 3 KenPom team, but they won the national championship. One was a 10 seed, one was a 15 seed. Can you guess the 2 teams?
Is Villanova one of them?
No. They were always top 3.
Okay. Ooh.
I'll give you a hint. I just brought their name up.
Was it UCLA?
No.
No, wait a minute. They haven't done anything.
No. The team right after that I brought up, UConn.
There you go.
UConn won both of those. They're the only team in the past 20 years to win a national championship and not be a top 3 ranked team. Then there was Syracuse the year before. So, like, I know I'm being a little, like, I'm cutting it. If I would give it one more year, if I say in the past 21 years, then you'd have Syracuse, who was like the number 8 team that won the championship, which that's so random, Syracuse winning the national championship, isn't it?
Yeah. Big East needs more love.
Whatever. But that was like the Carmelo Anthony days. Oh, my gosh.
Takes you back, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, like, I wasn't even born yet in 2002, but,
It's still basketball history. Anyway, to get the wheels back on the train tracks, Calipari leaving is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
To go from Kentucky, which operates like an NBA franchise, to has the money of an NBA franchise.
Yeah.
To Arkansas, who's been up and down. You thought they were on a come up the last couple seasons.
Yeah, I mean, they made some pretty good runs.
It was 22, 23. They made the Elite Eight both years.
They beat Gonzaga the one
They
year.
got really deep those 2 seasons, and then kind of they fell off this year. But still, we're looking like a decent threat in the SEC until the end of the season. So I understand why they would want to part ways with Eric Musselman, whether it was, hey, you got to go find a job elsewhere, we're going to kick the can for you, or he just went and took the job because he knew it was coming. I don't think we know anything about that yet, but
yeah,
I just don't know if, with the failures that Kentucky's had, especially over the last 4 years, did make it in 21, bounced in the first rounds 22 and 24, and then bounced in the second round in 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
Kentucky basketball.
That's not Kentucky basketball. So you got to wonder if he was starting to feel that pressure, not just from Kentucky fans, but from the administration as well.
I mean, I said on the show, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I'm like, how much longer does his, like, it was like, it's John Calipari. He's like, he's got a lifelong contract with them. They're never going to fire him.
The funny thing is, though, is that like a week before he left, or maybe it was like 10 days or something like that, he had a sit down with the athletic director, and the athletic director went public with it, saying that Calipari's our guy. He's coming back.
So do you feel like it's more Calipari leaving or Kentucky saying?
I also wonder if Arkansas was trying to like putting in the sweetheart deal, because now Calipari's like one of the top 5 paid coaches in terms of annual salary. And while we don't have like the full figures, we know that the base salary is $7 million. You got to think that there's escalators in there to potentially knock that up towards $9 million, which is where Bill Self is currently sitting as the highest paid coach in college basketball. So I think there's a whole host of things here, but I also think it's interesting that when the athletic director came out about the week before that Calipari left, Calipari didn't say anything. It was just the athletic director. Calipari stayed silent. What's different about this that I think is very interesting about, like, I do want to get into this too about who might Kentucky's replacement be, but there's coaches coming out and giving like statements of, oh, we're not leaving. Oh, we're staying. We don't want to leave. That never happened from Calipari. You got the vote of confidence from the athletic director. Players weren't immediately leaving to go to the transfer portal. They were all still there. But Calipari decided to take it upon himself and go and leave. And now you have to wonder how many Kentucky recruits are going to go to Fayetteville. How many Kentucky players are going to go into the transfer portal, stay loyal to Calipari, and go play for the Razorbacks?
I don't know if we're going to see as much of that, but it is interesting because it's like, if you just look at it in a vacuum, a team like Kentucky, a team that's operated like Kentucky over recent history, you would feel like this new era of the transfer portal and NIL would like benefit Kentucky. They've always been a school where they just bring in freshmen, they're one and done, gone. So like they're
always bringing in like the top recruits too. They recruit like a powerhouse.
So it's like Kentucky's used to turnover from year to year. Some of these schools, bring in a player as a freshman and they would stay as a senior. That's not really the reality anymore of these big time schools. It's one and done. So you feel like Kentucky would be a school that wouldn't be fazed by that because that's what they've been doing. But they've had they just haven't had success at all. And it's not surprising to see him leave because Kentucky plays against these teams that, they go against Oakland, a team that's probably been playing, like those players on the team have been playing together for years. And you've got a Kentucky squad that they just kind of threw together for this year. And it's like, yeah, they're more talented, but they haven't been playing as long.
So you can have like these, I just want to build off of that. You have your 5-star recruits.
Yeah.
All these, like, I got the best guy from, I don't know. We got the best guy from Kentucky. We got the best guy from Arkansas. We got the best guy from Tennessee.
Yep.
We got the best guy from Florida. Let's throw them all on the court together and see how they play. And these guys, and I think it's also interesting that you bring that up because they're one and dones. There's no age limit in the NBA draft. Compared to the NFL draft, where I think it's like you have to play 2 or 3 seasons of college football to be able to declare for the NFL draft.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that in the NBA. It can be one and done. And when you're going to a program like Kentucky and you have the exposure that you do and you're playing in these high profile events, like let's just take like the Atlantis tournaments or like the CBS Sports Classic where you're playing Ohio State, UCLA, North Carolina, like those teams, and you're playing these teams all the time, you're going to be like, man, I'm playing against some of the best competition ever, and we're not playing cupcake games till the NCAA tournament comes around.
Mm-hmm.
Then that happens, you're like, oh, I want to get out of here now. There's no point in me staying.
Yeah.
I mean, and then like you say, you talk about a team like Oakland that sticks together through everything. They don't have the luxury of NIL and the transfer portal. People aren't like, oh, I want to go to Oakland University in Nowheresville, Michigan. I don't
By the way, it's not in California.
Exactly. I don't even know where. I want to say Oakland University is in Detroit, and I didn't even find that out until their logo appeared on the Sweet 16 courts. But you're not thinking in the back of my mind, like, I want to go to Oakland and no one's going to see me there. I'm going to disappear. People are thinking, I want to go from Oakland to Florida. I want to go to this big name school. No one's thinking to go to a smaller school.
Yeah.
So with these Oakland players, they're all playing together. They have this chemistry for the longest time. Then they go and play a juggernaut, air quotes, and they knock them off their tails.
And it's crazy though, because like that tournament game means so much more for a team like Oakland than Kentucky. All these Kentucky players know, like, oh, I'm gonna get drafted in the NBA to the NBA in a couple months.
Oh, it doesn't matter to them.
And
They're just trying to get to the next level.
I'm not saying it like doesn't matter to them at all. It just doesn't mean as much as it does for these Oakland players. That like this is like once they're done with college basketball, they're not playing basketball anymore. I mean, truly, they're not. Players.
They'll put the like FDU at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Put up it just said like round of advanced to like round of 32 or something like that. Those players are going to get remembered at FDU forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like immortalized. That team is not going to go away. Whereas, let's say, Houston. Let's just use Houston's team for this year. There's no banner going up for them getting to the Sweet 16. They might have like one of those generic banners where they add years up onto it, but they're not having banner raising ceremonies for getting to the Sweet 16.
No.
But Oakland will. Oakland's going to have a banner raising ceremony for getting to the round of 32. It's just it means more at some of those smaller schools. That's not to diminish the meaning of advancing. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that it means more at some of these smaller schools.
Oh yeah.
Because just like a huge percentage of high schoolers, like both of us who competed in high school athletics, we're not playing again. We're not playing right now. We weren't good enough. That plain and simple. Players on teams like Oakland will not be playing, more likely than not, professional basketball. It values more.
We just got text saying, would Nebraska hang a round of 32 banner?
Well, they will be adjusting the generic banner inside of PBA of NCAA appearances, which is long overdue.
Oh yeah. I mean, probably there'd be something.
There will be something. I want to say they have a NCAA tournament appearance banner.
I think they do
above the retired numbers.
I mean, bro, Nebraska's the only Power 5 school that's never won a tournament game. Yes, there's got to be something.
It's wild.
Like if Nebraska would have beat Texas A&M, it would have been something Nebraska's never done before. Never. That's literally like Oakland winning in the round of 32. It would literally be like Nebraska. I get Nebraska's a bigger school, obviously, stuff like that. But like, you understand what I'm saying? Like Nebraska's had just as much success as Oakland's had more. Sorry, I misspoke. Oakland has had more success in the NCAA tournament than Nebraska has.
That's wild.
So, I mean, that's just the state of Nebraska basketball.
Can we real quickly, like, before we run out of time for the segment, targets for Kentucky? Just real quickly?
Yep.
Okay.
Go for
it. I think they have to go at least talk to Billy Donovan. I don't think he's going to leave the Bulls. But let me hear me out. I only know something about the story because I follow the Bulls.
Because you're from Chicago.
That too. I think it's a very precarious situation for Kentucky because the NBA season is not going to end for at least a couple more weeks. Chicago is not making it to the NBA playoffs. They will get knocked out in the play-in tournament. It is without a doubt.
By the Miami
Andre Drummond and Torrey Craig crashing into the backboard should tell you everything you need to know. And I can't believe I saw it in a game. Anyway, you at least have to check on him.
I wouldn't think he'd go down to the
I
college
don't think he wants to go back living the lifestyle that he does in the NBA. Everything is done for him. You're living in big cities. You don't have to go and recruit. That's the front office's job. All you have to do is get the players in game shape and ready. You do have to recruit, but not to the same extent where as when you're the head coach of a basketball program, you're basically the CEO of the program for the most part.
Yeah.
Another name that I think this one's been circulated a lot is Scott Drew from Baylor. I think you have to check up on. Right. One though that I think is a very dark horse candidate. I can't remember the name, but I remember getting brought up. The head coach of BYU.
Interesting. You just know Kentucky's going to get some kind of big name. Like
they have to. They have to splash.
It's not going to be just some I don't want to say random person, but it's not going to be like it's not going to be like a young coach that's like never coached.
Do you think Dan Hurley would take it?
Bro, we talked about this on the show the other day. He loves UConn. I can't see him leaving.
I can't either.
If he were to leave, it would be to a place like Kentucky.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those places that's going to be paying him through the nose.
Yes, but he loves.
But he's a legend at UConn now. They're at the top of basketball's landscape right now,
and he could win back-to-back championships for Kentucky, and he wouldn't be looked at the same way.
Not at all.
He'd be looked at in a good light, but not the same way
he's living his best life right now. He's at the top of the glory stage. Whereas if he went to Kentucky, you'd just be like, cool, you won 3 in a row. Go get a 4th one or we're not going to care about you.
Yeah.
And I think another one also interesting too, how quickly Nate Oates said no and put out that statement of support.
Yeah.
Because that was an interesting target as well, but that buyout is really expensive. It's like $17 million. I know Kentucky can eat that because they print money there.
It's Kentucky.
But that would be something.
It's going to be interesting to see what Kentucky does because it's Kentucky basketball. It's such a big deal over there. One of the quote unquote blue bloods, which I hate that that's even
we can't even use that term anymore.
Yeah, it's not even a thing. But with that, we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to finish out the show with some MLB talk. I know Danny's really dying to talk about some MLB, so we're going to do that next segment right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
I think about all the infrastructure that got built up behind the scenes by Coach Osborne, that Coach Solich took over, and then some of that infrastructure was eroded. Matt Rule still has to prove this, but I think Matt Rule's style is that, he'd like the infrastructure in place, but I think Matt Rule has the personality to do everything in his power to bend it to the way he wants it.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations. Guess what?
What?
There's 5 Lincoln locations now. Oh my gosh. That's 25% more Lincoln locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Happy hour.
Want to talk about the Masters menu? Breakfast. Masters blend fresh brewed coffee, a chicken biscuit, a breakfast sandwich. So that's breakfast. Sandwiches, egg salad sandwich, pimento cheese sandwich, a pork barbecue sandwich.
If you have like a loose 20 in your pocket and you go to PBA for a basketball game, you're getting French fries and water. Like, that's it.
So if you have $68, you can buy one of everything on the menu.
$68
gets you one of everything on this Masters concession menu.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. One last segment.
Hi,
with
guys.
Myself, Ben, and then that was Danny.
Hey.
And Danny's super passionate about the jerseys for MLB. So that's where he's wanting this conversation to go.
We're going there.
And I'm
guys.
just here along for the ride because I watch barely any MLB.
All right.
I'll watch it more maybe when playoffs come. Regular season MLB is like,
We're all right. Here we go.
Here we go.
So
get on your soapbox.
We're opening Pandora's box. Oh boy, we're in trouble. So in the off season, if you have been on social media at all in the last 2 months, you would know.
Not under a rock.
Not under a rock. MLB, Nike, and Fanatics changed the way that their jerseys are going to be. So they wanted to make it more performance based. And when players got to spring training in February, they looked at the jerseys and they're like, what the heck is this? It was like paper thin. The lettering of the jersey, of the names on the jersey, smaller. So not those big block letters that you're accustomed to seeing. They're like this big now, not that big at all. And they're in that curved shape. So like Miguel Cabrera, I think 7 letters in his name. You could easily fit that nameplate across the top of the jersey. Obviously, he's retired now, but they made up like a mock-up. They made a mock-up of the jersey. And now it's just like, it's a huge archway. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then here's another really good one. The Tigers were playing yesterday. They were on the road. And Riley Green goes and slides into home plate. Left pant leg completely tears apart from the hip to about 3 inches below the knee, completely torn. Is the fabric on the outer seam. So if you have like your pant leg and you know the black stripe that goes down, that's where it tore open. Patches are heat pressed; they are not stitched anymore.
That's
which
so
is really depressing.
That irks me. That grinds my gears.
The road grays for basically every team. If you sweat even a little bit, you're gonna be able to see it, like on camera. I know cameras now in 2024 are modern marvels and can do so many cool things. But you can see the sweat from the players from home, and it is sad. Not only that, But when you're seeing the road grays and the road pants, they're not even the same color. They're different shades of gray. What are we doing? What are we doing?
This reminds me of when the NBA.
I am
made,
not buying a MLB jersey again until they fix this. I want Majestic back.
This reminds me of when the NBA did like their different kind of jerseys. They made jerseys a different way, and like they were like thinner, same way. So it was like NBA players could like tear their jersey easier, and it just like, and it was like I don't think it was Nike. I don't even know. Different. I think it is Nike that makes the NBA jerseys.
Yep.
I think it is Nike.
Nike makes NFL, MLB, and NBA.
Greedy. But, the jersey, so much like MLB, which makes sense because it's Nike, super thin for NBA jerseys. A lot of players that didn't like those, but now no one really cares. It's the new norm. So
it's the
get used to it, Danny.
Man, I know, but like Majestic actually like cared about the players and like made sure that the stuff was good. Like,
you're over exaggerating.
Why can't we get this right?
You're
like,
over exaggerating.
The names aren't even evenly spaced out on the back of the jersey. They're not evenly spaced out. It looks like a toddler went up and took letters from the easel and went and stuck it up on the whiteboard and tried to make like, ooh, we're gonna make like a rainbow, and they couldn't spell it. They couldn't like line it up correctly. Some of them have been egregious. It is brutal, and some of the stitching is just it's not it.
Like a toddler.
Like a toddler.
Was a toddler the person that made these jerseys? Can we confirm that?
I will neither confirm nor deny, and I am currently waiting for a cease and desist to pop up in my inbox because I am very worried that one or all of Nike Fanatics and Major League Baseball are going to come suing for me, and I am not prepared.
Danny, get your lawyers ready. Get your lawyers ready. It's going to be a battle.
I'm calling up UNL Legal Services as soon as we get out of here because I am royally screwed.
You're going to need them. But with that, I want to thank everyone for listening into the Daily Nebraskan Show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back here tomorrow, same time, 11 to 12. It'll be me and Joseph, just like Tuesday. Tuesdays was a fun show. Tonight was a fun show.
Very fun show.
Got Vivian and Sarah doing the first segment. Me and you wrapping it up. Is UConn a blue blood?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think they are. And if you're wondering at home, I got another one of my obvious shirts today. We got being cold at Wrigley is better than being warm anywhere else.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, bro. Go Cubs. Sorry.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I'm a little biased there. But with that, thank you for listening in, and we'll be right back here tomorrow.
Good night, guys.
But until then, peace.
Old School with DP and J.
So I knew that it was a crapshoot with the grown-up professionals at the highest level. Who's going to bet? I don't know whether the starting center's girlfriend broke up with him